You felt the pressure, so you started a list. Learn prompting. Stack the human skills the articles swear are safe. You spent a weekend on it and felt a little ahead. Then a new model did one of them better than you just learned to, and the list reset. Here's how I'd read that. You're not a few skills behind. You've been answering the wrong question. Irreplaceable was never a skill you collect. It's a seat you sit in. Forget the checklist. I'll show you the seat AI can't take and why it grows more valuable as AI improves. So let me name the treadmill properly because you have lived it. It usually starts with a jolt, a layoff headline, or a colleague who suddenly does everything with AI, or a 30-second clip listing the skills about to be obsolete. So you make a plan, and this is the weekend you finally get ahead of it. The plan is always the same shape. Acquire one more tool, one more technique, one more uniquely human skill that's supposed to be the moat. It feels like progress because a list always does. But watch what happens a few weeks later. The tool you learned got folded into a button. The AI can't do that skill you banked can now do a passable version of exactly that. And the list you built to feel safe is the thing keeping you feeling behind because it resets every time the tools move. That isn't a discipline problem. That's just the shape of chasing skills in a field that rewrites the skill list every few months. The wrong question. Start with the question almost every future-proof skills video is quietly answering. It's what can AI not do? And it sounds smart, right up until you notice it has an expiry date stamped on it. Whatever you write on that list today is a snapshot of this month's weakest spots. And those are the exact spots the labs are pouring billions into closing. There are well over 500 AI models now, and a new one lands every few days. So anything's AI can't do list is being edited while you read it. Open a Future-Proof Skills for 2023 article today and watch how much of it the tools just handle now. The World Economic Forum already expects something like 39% of core work skills to change by 2030. That's a projection, not a promise. But the direction is the whole point. A skill, on its own, is a strange thing to bet your safety on. A skill is the most copyable thing you own. The moment it's nameable and teachable, the moment someone can put it in a course or a listicle, is also the moment it's on the menu of things a machine can be trained to do. The more cleanly a skill can be described, the easier it is to hand off. And if what can AI not do keeps giving you a list that rots, maybe the question itself is broken. The better question, the one with a durable answer, is what can't AI be trusted to do alone? Hold on to that last word, alone, because that's where the whole thing turns, the seat that moved. Here's what actually changed in this new era underneath all the noise, not which skills matter. Which side of the work is scarce? Picture almost any piece of work as having two seats. There's the producer's seat, where you make the thing, the draft, the deck, the code, the analysis, the email. And there's the verifier's seat, where you decide if the thing is any good, catch what's wrong with it, and put your name on it. For most of history, those two seats were filled by the same person, because making the thing was the expensive part. AI just pulled them apart. Producing a first draft of almost anything is now close to free. One assistant alone reports something like 800 million people using it every week to make things. But making the thing cheap did not make judging it cheap. The producer's seat is the one AI is sitting down in. The verifier's seat is the one it can't, which is why when you try to become irreplaceable by getting faster at producing, sharper prompts, more tools, quicker drafts, you're sprinting toward the exact chair the machine is taking. That's the quiet mistake hiding under most future-proofing advice. It tells you to compete with AI on production, which is the one race it was built to win. The move that lasts isn't a better skill in the producer's seat, it's changing seats, the one skill that appreciates. Now the part that sounds backwards the first time you hear it, verification. The work of the verifier's seat is the one skill that gets more valuable as AI gets better, not less. Most human edge claims are static. People will always be better at this or that. This one is dynamic, and that's exactly what makes it hold. Here's the mechanism. The better AI gets at producing, the more output there is, and the more confident that output looks. And confident is the trap. It will invent a fact, a quote, or a citation in the same calm voice it uses for the plain truth. The Stanford AI Index and the lab's own documentation treat that as a standing limitation, not a solved bug. A model that's wrong some of the time but sounds certain every time is, in its own way, more slippery than one that's obviously clumsy. because nothing on the surface tells you which part to check. The reliability research says the same thing from another angle. AI evaluation groups like METR find the models nail tasks that take a person a few minutes, then fall below 10% on tasks that take a few hours. On one agent benchmark, the best agent finished about 62% of real web tasks to a human's 78%. And the researchers warn even that probably flatters real life. This matters if your work depends on the answer actually being right, not just sounding right, because it means someone has to own the last mile. The part where you decide the confident draft is genuinely correct, good enough, and safe to send. That someone is the verifier. And the flood of cheap, plausible output doesn't shrink that job. It's the thing that makes it scarce. Inside the verifier's seat. What is the verifier's seat, really? What's the actual skill? It's tempting to turn it into a tidy checklist. But it isn't a list of separate skills. It's one capability wearing three faces. The first is knowing what good even looks like for this specific task. The standard, the taste, the bar a draft gets measured against. A model can generate 1,000 versions. Only a person who knows the work can tell which one is actually right for this client, this context, this risk. The second is catching where it's wrong. Not skimming the fluent surface and nodding along, but reading like someone who fully expects a confident mistake and goes hunting for it. The third is owning the call, being the one who says ship it or no, and carrying the weight if that judgment is off. And those three don't really come apart. You can't catch the error without the standard. And the standard means nothing if no one will stand behind the verdict. It's a single muscle. Judgment you'll put your name on. Here's the quiet thing about that muscle. It's built from knowing your domain, not from knowing the tool. The tool changes every few months. What good looks like in your work, and the responsibility for getting it right does not. That's why this is the seat that survives the next launch. And the one after that. How you actually get left behind. Let me be honest about how getting left behind actually happens. Because it's not the way the doom clips tell it. It isn't a model showing up one morning and deleting your whole job. It's slower and quieter, and it's a question of which seat you're in. Picture two people who started this year level. Same role, same skill, same low hum of AI anxiety. One spent the year getting faster at producing with AI. Better prompts, more tools, more output, shipped quicker. The other spent the year becoming the person their team trusts to catch the mistake and sign off. The one who reads the confident draft and finds the thing that would have been embarrassing. For a while, they look equal. Maybe the fast producer even looks ahead. Then the tool gets a lot better at producing. Watch what that one upgrade does to each of them. The faster producer just had their main contribution handed to the machine because they were competing on the part that's now free. The verifier just became more necessary because there's even more confident output flowing past that needs a human to vouch for it. Same upgrade. Opposite outcome. The producer didn't fall behind because they lacked an AI skill. They fell behind because they stayed in the seat AI was taking. Honestly, almost nobody is firmly in the verifier's seat yet. In Gallup's late 2025 survey, only about 1 in 8 U.S. workers used AI daily, and nearly half never touched it at work at all. So the crowd you're scared of trailing has mostly not even sat down. One more tell. Remember the 2026 survey that found the more people used AI, the less they trusted it. Read that as people discovering the verifier's job the hard way, leaning on the output, then realizing they have to check it. How to change seats. So how do you actually move chairs without quitting and without bolting one more thing onto that exhausting list? You don't learn a new skill. You change how you sit at a task you already do. Take one real piece of work this week. The report, the deck, the analysis, the client reply. Normally, you're the producer. You make it, maybe with AI helping at the edges. This time, flip it on purpose. Let AI produce the whole draft, and you take the verifier's seat over it. Before you read a single word, it wrote, write down what good actually means here. 3 things. A strong version has to get right. Then read the draft like you're being paid to find the one confident mistake in it, because there's usually one in there. Then make the call, fix what's wrong, cut what's weak, and put your name on what's left. Own the result, not the generation. That's the whole rep. And it's a completely different rep than getting faster at prompting. You're not practicing production. You're practicing judgment you'll stand behind. Do that on one task a week and something quietly shifts. You stop measuring your value by how much you can produce, the thing getting cheaper by the month, and start measuring it by what you can verify and vouch for, the thing getting scarcer. And the next big launch stops landing as a threat, because a better producer is exactly what a verifier wants sitting underneath them. Tomorrow morning. So here's the move for tomorrow morning. Not a course, not a new list. One rep. Pick a single task you'd normally produce and sit in the other seat instead. Let the tool draft it. Write the 3 things good means before you read a word. Find the confident error, make the call, and own whatever goes out the door. One rep in the verifier seat on work you already had to do. For most viewers, the takeaway is this. You were never a few skills behind, you were one seat over. Stop trying to outproduce a machine that produces for free, and start being the person who decides whether what it made is any good. That's the part that gets more valuable every time the tools improve, and it's the closest thing to irreplaceable the new era actually offers. So tell me, down in the comments, on your last big AI-assisted task, were you the producer or the verifier? Which seat were you in? That answer is your real starting point, and I read every reply.